Hey, Creative Ones, it's Melissa D'Antonia. I am live in the studio here in Austin, Texas today with April Kling Meyer, who is joining us. Thank you so much for offering to do a live demo. April is in the Creative Alchemy certification and training program. So if you're interested in how to use, like if you're an artist, a healer, an energy worker, a therapist, any kind of transformational practitioner, and you are wanting to deepen your own personal work as well as elevating your work with clients to really clear emotional blocks, subconscious blocks, trauma on all the dimensions, then I would really encourage you to reach out to me or even to April about the training program and how to get certified using Creative Alchemy. So we're going to do a quick demo. Hi guys. So we're gonna talk about shame today because it's such a powerful and often debilitating emotion and energetic imprint, and that when sanctioned in our own being, when sanctioned off, when repressed, when suppressed, the feeling of it metastasizes in our being and creates havoc and despair and pain and suffering on so many levels, right? And at the root of most trauma, there's some shame. There's some element of shame. Hi, Felicia. Hi, Sprite. So we're going to be talking about, we live in a shame-based culture. And if you, and everyone experiences shame. It's just part of the human experience, right? It's a natural feeling, trigger response, emotional response to trauma. And when we have wounds, when we have triggers, when we have traumas that are unattended, right, that have yet to be fully evolved and healed and dealt with properly, with the appropriate level of love and respect and presence and consciousness needed to evolve trauma, we stay stuck in cycles of shame, of abuse, of abusing ourselves, of inner abuse. And it really is at the root of an energetic pattern. So we're going to show you together. April has been so gracious to open up her process and share with us using the Creative Alchemy process, which works on all the dimensions. So we're going to be working on the emotional body. We're going to be working on the energetic body. We're going to be working on the mental body. We're going to be working on, I think I said the emotional. We're going to be working on the physical body. And that's what's so powerful about using painting. Because it's a non-verbal, it gets to the level of the subconscious and the soul really quickly. It goes right through our sort of rational mind and into the feeling body. It's also very kinesthetic, so you can have an energetic release that really moves the trauma through all the dimensions. It's really powerful. It's very quick. You don't need to spend years of therapy and processing verbally what happened to you. We don't even really go that much into the story of it. What we do is we give the energetic imprint an expression so that it can be released and evolved, and then we bring in, that connection to source or creator or the divine or however you life force, so that it can be evolved and that vibrational pattern can be raised to a higher experience and a higher emotion, right, throughout all the dimensions of the body. So, hey Tim, what's up? So if you have questions, while you're watching this, please let me know. Feel free to write in questions. I'm going to kind of tune in and be super present with April on her process and take her through Creative Alchemy. All right. Okay. All right, April. So should we just start talking about the feeling of shame? Do you want to go right into shame, or is there something present, or do you want to go into your body, or where you may be holding shame in your body?
I've noticed in my experience that shame tends to sit kind of low in the belly.
For you?
Yes, just real low in the belly. Just really sucks me in the gut, so to speak. Sometimes I get just this immediate gut-wrenching feeling when I feel shame. And through my work with you, we also uncovered that I tend to get like closed throats, sore throats, and upper respiratory stuff. My upper chest starts to really close up, and I lose my voice a lot, or when it comes to shame. So those are two zones for me.
Yeah, because when we are feeling shame, it cuts us off from our own flow of love, of self-love, of acceptance. So the antidote to shame, right, is love. It's self-acceptance. It's unconditional love. It's really, the difference between like shame and guilt. For example, guilt is, I've done something bad. Shame is I'm just innately bad, right? That's the core belief cognitively at the root of shame. So the antidote to that is that like unconditional positive regard and self-acceptance and self-love. So when we internalize traumas, we create a story, right? Especially if we have trauma at a very young age. Where we create stories about ourselves that we are innately bad. And so then if that trauma goes unhealed and unrealized, then it becomes our personal identity, and it starts early on, like as in childhood. So let's go into the physical body.
Okay.
Where are you feeling?
Today it's definitely that lower belly feeling.
In your belly.
Yeah.
Okay, so close your eyes for a moment. What color is it? And tell me a little bit about this feeling of shame.
It's to me it's a really orange, a bright orange, and that feeling of shame, it goes all the way back to being a little kid and just not knowing the rules around like, what's the right thing to say or the wrong thing to say at certain times, and making mistakes with your expression and with the things that you say, and just how you would face punishment if you kind of did anything that was uncomfortable for the people around you, and you started to feel that you were just wrong and that you were bad. Or in my case, I was wrong or I was bad, and I just feel I can go so deep inward to being a little kid and just feeling like hiding underneath something so that people wouldn't laugh at me or people wouldn't be angry at me.
Shame makes you hide.
Yes, it makes me hide.
Yeah.
And it goes back to just those experiences growing up and being little. And being very visible, but at the same time, feeling this pressure to be quiet and unseen. So, yes, I remember hiding, and I remember being just a very loud and expressive child, and that not being something that the people around me really liked. And so I felt the need to just keep it to myself.
Shame for being yourself.
Yes.
So maybe there was this belief that got created that being your authentic self was shameful.
Right. Certainly. And
or not okay.
Right. Just
or bad.
Yeah, not okay, bad, something that you should change about yourself. Got a lot of messages about just being the youngest by a pretty large margin as a child. My next youngest sibling was 7 years older, and my oldest was 10 years older than me. So I would look around and I would see everyone around me functioning at a much higher level because they were older, like being able to read and write and speak. And I just always internalized the shame, like I'm stupid and I'm an idiot. Yeah, because, and they would get frustrated with me. They would get frustrated because I didn't know how to do certain things or even wash my hands.
So I want you to stay into the body a little bit. Let's
sure.
The feeling, and you said it was this fluorescent orange color.
Mm-hmm.
What's the image? Like, what's the sensation? What is, if it were to have a feeling in your body as it's moving or as it's there, what does it feel like? Keep your eyes closed.
I just want to curl up. Just want to curl up in a little ball. Just want to be a little bitty.
So what's the image of the orange in your belly?
Just like going fetal, going completely curling up and turning inward and being in a womb, and just that glowing bright orange of the womb.
Right. Glowing. Okay. Just does it feel like, I want you to get into the multidimensionality of this?
Just
feeling.
Craving.
Like, does it feel like acid shame? What's the feeling of it? Is it a liquid?
It's a hot shame. It's a very heat,
like a fire.
Yeah, like a very heat, like a glowing ember.
Okay, so I want you to go to the painting cart, the paints, and pick out a color that resembles that feeling of shame, and I want you to start moving it and releasing that shame onto the painting. Hey Meredith. Hey guys. So stay connected to your physical body, and with the intention of connecting to it, giving it a voice, and releasing it here on the paper. So, and into the painting, you're consciously intending as you release it from a cellular level. And this is the power of intention. This is the power of alchemy, and why painting is so effective, because this is temper paint and paper. It's water soluble, right? So you can imbue, right, energetically the emotion, the feeling, the energetic imprint of shame, of any kind of pain, really, any kind of emotion, and release it. And that's what's so powerful about it. That's why it works so quickly on all the dimensions, because you are releasing it from the mental body. You're releasing the belief that's associated with the energetic imprint, right, on a cellular level. And you're using your hands and your fingers. There's a physical connection, there's an emotional connection, there is a mental, intentional connection, and there's a soul connection. Yeah? How does that feel?
I just feel it really kind of bubbling up.
Yeah, good. So keep letting that bubble up. So sometimes with Creative Alchemy, when you are acknowledging, if there's like a lot of a repressed emotion, right, or trapped trauma in the physical body, in the emotional body, and it starts to bubble up and you start to give it a voice, you start to give it a healthy expression, you have to feel it to reveal it, to heal it, to release it. So it can actually happen really quickly when we just allow ourselves to let it go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just that hot ember.
Yeah.
Really strong heat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
there's this one too.
I'm next to a fireplace and I can't walk away from it.
Yeah. So it's so important to use all of the senses when you're doing Creative Alchemy so that you can have that full release, right? Yeah. Oh, awesome, Meredith. I look forward to that. So describe a little bit about what is if you were to rate it from 1 to 10, how intense is the original feeling of shame in your belly?
Well, it's so deep, and just because of the deepness of it, I would have to give it like a 7. It's pretty high.
Yeah.
Like, I'm feeling really good today. I'm in good spirits, but that depth of that feeling, it's, it's really powerful.
7 out of 10.
Oh yeah, 7 out of 10 for sure.
Okay.
It's just deep and it's old.
Yeah, it's old. Yeah, so we can also muscle test it, yeah, for is it ancient, is it from a past life or generational, or did the original trauma of shame, like where did it happen in your development? Are we bringing it into this lifetime? Usually, whatever we're clearing, it has a timeline to it, you know?
Yeah.
So how does that feel?
Definitely feel like it goes back deeper and deeper into past generations where, you know, I think really just children from my generation and generations prior just really didn't have a voice to express their shame or their own frustrations. And I think that they were forced, because they didn't have a way to, you know,
we didn't have
defend ourselves. We had to hear a lot of messaging from parenting. Going back further and further, you know, children should be seen and not heard, and
it's shameful to be a child, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because you know, it can be, you know, parenting, we're both parents, can be very stressful.
So I'm feeling
but if we're not emotionally responsible ourselves, especially as parents, we can project our emotional responsibility onto our children, right? And then they learn that they're emotionally responsible for other people, and that's what sets in the codependency cycle, or what we refer to as codependency in our own relational, you know, sort of attachment styles. Because we, you know, if we get frustrated with a child, for example, for not getting something or not doing something or acting out of or triggering our own shame even, we may perpetuate the cycle of shame by saying, you're bad, right? Think about what that does to a child's development. Hi, John.
Throughout generations, there were higher expectations of children at various, you know, levels of development. And I feel like a lot of that shame got transmuted. Like, when I was your age, I was able to blank, you know, and that gets handed down. Like, all of that stuff that their own parents put upon them as small children comes down to, like, well, when I was your age, I was cooking dinner for everybody. Or when I was your age, I was taking care of all my siblings. And you're you know, implying, therefore, you're incapable of anything that I was able to do at your age. And that's hurtful. And it goes down from generation to generation.
Disempowering. And I think that's why it's so crucial for us right now in our collective development to really get this emotional responsibility thing down. Because if not, we just perpetuate the cycles of disempowering people emotionally. And really, our emotions are a superpower. You know, it's how we create. It's emotion. It's energy in motion. So when we fully take responsibility for our emotions, we are then able to fully take responsibility for our creativity and our power.
Halloween over here.
So just let it go. What's so great about April really using movement in her process, moving the energy, releasing it, feeling into the feelings of shame in the body and the mental body and the emotional body, the physical body, you know, really intending to not hold it on anymore, set it free. And again, this isn't so much about making a painting as it is like a deep energetic shift, right? Internal shift.
Yeah, this is not the prettiest painting I've ever done, for sure.
But that's not what it's about, and you're not done yet. So there's layers. She's really... The other thing I really love about Creative Alchemy is that I'm, you know, as a facilitator, I am guiding April through the process. I am guiding her and, you know, supporting her and acting as a catalyst and an intuitive guide and holding the sacred space for her to be able to up-level the shame and transform it, transmute it, and she's doing the work. This is her personal, creative, alchemical process that, given the tools, given the space, given the support, given the structure, she's able to transform deep energetic imprints of past trauma, and generational patterns of past trauma that get passed down, and really just a few minutes. Yeah. All right, so let me know when it feels like you have really fully released that feeling. You can feel a vibrational shift, an energetic shift, an emotional shift, and you're no longer feeling that charge in your physical body.
It's definitely like transformed from the beginning, just kind of being like this, that feeling when your cheeks are glowing because you're embarrassed and you're hurt and you just want to shrink away and dissolve. And it kind of transmuted into this like sadness and kind of like slowing me down a little bit, just kind of feeling like I'm like kind of grief. Bogged down, like walking through
What color's
muck.
the grief?
The grief is black. The black is like this, like it's just
the
bogging
shadow.
it down. It's just like, like this, just this presence that's just like a weight. It's like this thick weight. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of just there. Just sitting right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now that you've released it, right, that you've given it a voice and it's taken you from shame to grief, which is important because when we release something, usually other deeper emotions can also surface in the process. Yeah, that's part of the alchemy, sort of the cauldron of emotion, if you will. How would you rather feel instead of shame, instead of grief? How do you want to elevate this vibrational imprint or this emotional experience, this trauma, into a higher expression of, what do you want to feel?
I guess I just want to feel generally self-compassion, but more specifically, I want to feel like this ability to forgive myself for past mistakes and forgive myself anytime I accidentally or even semi-intentionally say the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm. And that gets triggered.
Right, exactly. Like this just, this need to just crawl in a hole, I really just want to move past things and clear things more quickly whenever I misspeak or whenever I speak out of anger.
Mm-hmm. And what really happens here is that we replace the original trauma imprint with what we would have rather have had, right?
Right.
So that's the evolved expression. So I heard self-compassion, love, and acceptance.
Yes.
So I want you to turn to the paints and feel into the colors that speak to you around compassion and love and this feeling. I want you to go there in your body, like feel like what it would feel like to be enveloped with this deep compassion and regard of self and this acceptance and and love and what that would feel like. So grab the colors.
Great.
And then move the paint from that place of what it is that you need that you didn't get, almost like the missed experience from that original wound. There you go. So what April is doing is she is calling in, she is cultivating, she is taking emotional responsibility for her own traumas, her own wounds, her own pain, and evolving them beyond the original imprint. So again, that can be a generational wound that got passed down, associated with beliefs and patterns and ways of doing things, behaviors, traits, DNA all the way down to your DNA, to, and how it affects your DNA, to really calling in this higher vibration and creating and elevating her own emotional body and her own, it's basically like rewiring the original trauma. And as you're painting, April, I want you to tell us a little bit about what you're experiencing on all the dimensions.
Well, for me, this is an opportunity to go back and visit through the passage of time. Go back and visit those moments in childhood that are so distinctly memorable to me when I felt shame, and go back to those moments. But just to be able to say to myself in those moments, it's okay, and you're okay, and you're loved, and you're protected, and that everything will turn out no matter what.
So tell me, I want you to stay really present with your internal experience and sensations. What are you noticing in your body? What are you noticing emotionally? What are you noticing physically? What are your thoughts?
For me,
as you paint,
I didn't expect to feel like this kind of like really big excitement like right before you get on an airplane. Like didn't expect to just like.
So you felt a release.
Yeah, I kind of expected to be like this like really deep, sad grieving, but right now I just feel like, you know,
free. So
it feels
like
nice.
An experience of freedom, of release, of joy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's really kind of exhilarating. Sometimes when I've gone into the creative alchemy process, you know, I cried and I felt, you know, very, very heavy, and I was able to transform that in the second phase and just feel more light. But this is just like, woohoo today.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, 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 yes.
So a lot of what people can also refer to this process as like a soul retrieval process. So what happens is we go back to the energetic imprint of the original trauma, and we reclaim our creative life force, that energy, that creativity, that vitality that got sanctioned off, right, and fragmented at the original wound. So I think that's what April so beautifully is articulating, is that when we're in this creative alchemy process and we release the resistance, we release we give the pain or the trapped emotion or a voice, we reclaim our creative power and potency through doing that. And it is an energetic shift that happens really quickly, and also realizing, and you know, you're rewiring in all of your multidimensionality, that you have the power to control your well-being, your emotional well-being, and that you can do these shifts daily. Whenever you feel triggered or emotionally you know, if you want to shift your frequency, it's pretty powerful. Yeah?
Yeah.
Great.
This is the most fun one I've actually had.
So again, just describe what your sensations are. You don't have to go into the story, but just the feeling of it while you're painting.
Just feels free and soft.
Soft, yeah.
Instead of like this heat, like I just feel like warmth, you know, and I feel like an embrace. Instead of wanting to curl up in a little fetal ball, I feel like I'm being embraced and that my heart is being seen. And that there is a lot of love just surrounding me, and that I have access to it.
So how would you bring more of that love in? What color is it?
It's this bright grassy green to me.
Yeah.
This is like just that it's growing from the ground up. and it's just enveloping everything, just little by little, from darkness into this little bits of green, just growing from the ground and forming this enveloping presence.
Beautiful. All right. So tell us a little bit about the vibrational shift in your own experience from how you were feeling when you started the process till now.
I think what I feel right now is just that essence of just simple default joy that comes with having the energy of a small child. Just that simple sense of wonder and amazement, and I just feel that about my own soul, and I kind of feel like it's going backward through the generations, just trying to treasure and protect that simple sweet joy of young children throughout the different familial lines, throughout my ancestry. Just allowing those people in my lives, you know, my parents and their parents and great grandparents, to just be simple little children and feel that joy.
I love it.
Through me.
Yes. Yeah, and that's how we can, through taking responsibility of, you know, shifting our own emotional emotions, we can heal the whole family line and break the cycle too, you know, kind of up level the way that we handle our emotions and really empower ourselves. Yeah. Cool. You feel complete? Yeah?
Yeah.
Great. So on a scale from 1 to 10, you started off with the feeling of shame about a 7. How do you feel now?
I don't feel anything.
You don't feel
I don't feel any shame right now.
So 0?
I would say 0.
0. Wow.
It's not a part of my being right now.
Yeah.
And my belly just kind of feels like, okay, we're gonna go eat lunch now. It doesn't feel like, oh.
You don't feel like you're holding on to.
No.
Yeah.
It's not gripping. It's not trying to suck.
And how's your overall energy level? Is it?
I just feel
revitalized?
I feel like my cheeks are glowing with happiness right now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, you are glowing. It's great. Anything else you want to share about your process with people?
Well,
and about this experience and how it's transformed your own life?
I'll be frank. I mean, I was a little concerned I might get overly emotional today. What is that? It's shame.
Yeah.
And I just thought, you know, I'm just going to be unafraid in this process, and I'm going to be bare. And I'm just really happy with how much energy it's given me. I know from the work we've done lately, my whole concern with myself is just my level of energy being at least steady, you know, because I feel like energy for a lot of people right now is just really erratic. It's super up and down, meeting extremes. I'm just trying really hard to keep my energy at a certain level, certain comfortable level. And I'm really delighted with how this experience has lifted me. Because sometimes when you go through transformative process, you feel exhausted afterward. And I may feel exhausted later, but right now I just feel like, oh, yay!
Yes.
I want to go run errands or just get some things done, which for me lately has been a little difficult to keep my energy buoyant. So right now it's good. It's really good.
So you feel revitalized and like you've reclaimed some of your energy back. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when we release trapped trauma, right?
Yeah.
We reclaim that creative life force. I love it. Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you guys for watching. And thank you, April, for sharing your process of Creative Alchemy. So the next steps, we didn't really go through the entire 8-step process here, but April's next step would be to write a bridge from where she started to kind of integrate where she started vibrationally with shame all the way to a higher state of freedom and joy and playfulness. Yeah. And we'll post the painting below too. So sending you all lots of love. If you are interested in using the arts for transformation and using this process and getting certified to guide people to clear out energetic imprints, trauma, trapped emotions through all the dimensions, right? The cognitive, the cognitive mind, the emotional body, the energetic body, the physical body. We cannot clear trauma just at the level of thought. It has to be with a modality that clears things emotionally, vibrationally, at the soul level, in the mental body and the physical body. And this does it really, really quickly. So if you're interested, please message me. I'll also put a link. You can set up a complimentary assessment with me. And we'll talk very soon. Lots of love. Thanks again, April, for sharing your process.
Thank you.
Beautiful.